Hey everybody, it's Ed, and the future is now, and the future is digital currency. Now, one of my subscribers actually mentioned this company that I want to talk about, who's involved in digital currency. Okay, it's actually a bank, and I always want to have a bank in my portfolio in general because the banking sector moves different than other sectors. So also, new currency going digital, there's a lot of innovation there. So it's innovation plus balancing the portfolio at the same time. So I searched for the subscriber that mentioned it, but I couldn't find him to give him some credit here. Now, if he's watching, hopefully, I know he's a subscriber, so I hope that he's checking it out. Do me a favor and comment if it was you that was talking about this bank, okay? So this is why it's important to subscribe to the channel too. So if you subscribe to the channel and you ask me to check out a stock, and that stock tends to break the chart or break out or is of interest that I think has a lot of potential, I'm going to snag shares in it. And if I do snag shares of stock in that, I am going to chart it and I'm going to track it. So therefore, you'll have that current data that's constantly being updated about what that company is going to do. So the first thing I do is check out the chart on the company to see what it looks like. Okay, because most of the time I can look at the chart and say, okay, this has potential, or okay, I don't want to get involved. I'm going to pass on this one. Okay, so, but this one, let's start with the second thing, which is still pretty important, is to read about what the company is about. Okay, Silvergate Capital, ticker SI, okay, is headquarters in La Jolla, California. Okay, it's a commercial bank. It's been open since 1988, profitable for 22 consecutive years. That's important. I noted that. Super strong profit, 22 years. Okay, that's big. Okay, now they're getting into digital currency. I think they started that in 2013, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. So let's see what the analysts say about that. There's two analysts covering this. Saying, let's see, SI is the leading bank serving the expanding digital currency industry. Let's see what else. I don't want to read it all to you, but you can read it as we go. I'm just looking for the key points here. Saying with 1.3 billion in digital currency related deposits, we believe SI has the largest share of the deposits across the industry. So they initiated an overweight rating and a price target of $19 per share. So right now the stock is trading around 16.50. So that's pretty big. So if they're saying 19, that's pretty strong. Most analysts are pretty conservative. The digital currency bank is up over 30% since its initial November listing. Oh, that's right. They basically went IPO in November. Though it's still rather quiet on the street when it comes to the opinions on bank prospects, only one other analyst currently has a take on SI, marking it a moderate buy with the average price target being 18. Okay, now, so let's reflect back to the chart. You can see when they IPO'd, and then there was an investment firm push which jetted the stock up. Like instantly, they went from basically 12 to 16, or a 30% rise. And you can see how they hit the ceiling, bounced off, hit the ceiling, bounced down, hit the ceiling, bounced down, hit the ceiling. That's forming a massive resistance ceiling at the time. And then they bounced down, and I noticed something significant. Along the same lines that the chart started looking solid, they added Benjamin Richmond as director of digital currency. So you can read a little bit about this, but prior to Silvergate, Benjamin spent the past 3 years at Blockstream, a global leader in Bitcoin and blockchain technology, where he was the director of business development and partnerships and was responsible for the growth of Blockstream. So you can see after adding Benjamin Richmond, you're dealing with a positive move in the chart. And it broke out basically the other day. You can see it break that ceiling, and now it turned a massive ceiling into a huge support potentially. So you can see it broke the moving average. And just as a side note, ARK Investing and Cathie Wood have a 0.24% or a quarter percent of their portfolio in this company. So if you believe in ARK and kind of their research and what they do, you know, that's a big deal. And you can see that's probably the investment firm push when they bought a ton of shares. So when I talk about the charts in the technicals, I make decisions based on multiple positive things, not just one thing. Now I can name 5 things that are really positive about the company here, and referring to the chart as well. But the main, one is the fact that they're profitable every year. That's pretty solid. If you're going to invest in something, they should probably be profitable, right? Okay. Number 2, they just brought in a guy for digital currency, okay, who knows the business. Okay. Number 3, they got ARK Investing and other analysts being very positive about the company. Okay. Number 4, I mean, they broke a huge ceiling. They broke the moving average. They're breaking multiple parts to the actual chart. Okay. So let's see what the other executives at Silvergate say about Benjamin. Okay. Let's see what Kate Frayer says. We are dedicated to providing great customer experience and excited to welcome Benjamin to our team. His deep understanding of digital currency industry and digital currency infrastructure solutions we are building will be tremendous asset. Ben Reynolds, Executive Vice President of Corporate Development at Silvergate, also said in the bottom, let's see, the exchanges, the experience that Benjamin gained at Blockstream will be important to our success. So I also like to see what the media bias is here, if they're positive or negative to the company. So you can see Michael Morrow here saying a refreshing take given the sentiments expressed by other banks, especially the big ones. Okay, the key to the growth industry of the digital asset industry, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, a striking stance in the world of banking. Okay, the go-to bank for the cryptocurrency industry. Okay, all of these are solid. So that's good. You don't want the media necessarily against you, okay? So I'm just going to briefly talk about the key points to the Q4 earnings. Okay, they did the IPO at 824,000 and change shares of common stock sold by the company and 2.5 million shares sold by selling shareholders on November 12th, 2019. On the 18th, underwriters exercised in full their allotment. Okay, option to purchase an additional almost 500,000 shares from the selling shareholders. So I won't get involved in the dilution of the shares right now. I don't think that's super critical in the beginning stages of the company right now. But I did want to talk about the Silvergate Exchange Network, or the SEN, because that's what you'll hear about. Okay, their exchange network. Okay, they handled 14,400 transactions compared to 12,000 transactions for third quarter 19, and way up from 4,977 in the fourth quarter of 2018. So that's pretty big. So they're getting fees on all of this stuff as far as I'm aware. Let me see if it says anything about the fees. Let's see. I think it's on a different page. Let me check that out. Yes, it's on the bottom here. Digital currency customer related fee income for 2019 was 4.9 million compared to 2 million the prior year in 2018. So that's pretty key. And you can see the transactions, 46,000 versus 7,000. Okay, this is pretty big growth. Okay, so I like this. If we're going towards this digital currency era, these guys seem to have a handle on this. So, and we're in kind of early before it's at $30, $40, $50 a share potentially. Who knows? So now that I did some basic research on the company and I can see they're trying to grow, I can see digital currency is a potential future. So we got some innovation. When it broke the chart, basically, we bought in at 100 shares. That's a very small percentage of our total portfolio. Now, basically, every 50 cents it goes up, we'll probably add another 100 shares. It goes up to 17, goes up to 1750, goes up to 18, goes up to 1850. I'm not saying those are our exact numbers that we're going to buy. It depends on dips and this and that. But that's a plan. Buy as it's going up and as you're profitable. That's what we're going to do, at least in this situation. We're going to see how it plays out. We're going to start in low. I'm not just going to load up the entire position now and hope for the best. That's a terrible strategy in my mind. And you guys know I love analogies. Back to the pool analogy. We are literally just dipping our foot in the pool to see if it's nice and warm or if it's freezing cold or whatever. We're in the shallow end dipping our toe. Eventually, we'll get our legs in or whatever. And then, maybe we'll jump into the shallow end. And then once we get really comfortable, we may be diving into the deep end or diving off the diving board. Think about it kind of that way. You don't want to start from not knowing how to swim with the company to jumping to diving off the high dive, or cliff diving into the deep end. Now, I want to do a side note here. Okay, Silvergate is a banking platform as innovative as the entrepreneurs we serve. Now, let's remember where they're located. La Jolla, California. Okay, my dad used to live in La Jolla, California, and he told me when he was a fighter pilot, and he told me that the biggest mistake he ever made in investing ever was not buying real estate in La Jolla, California. That was literally the thing he mentioned. And I thought about it and I was like, wow, these guys are in a very, very rich area. There is a ton of money right around their neighborhood. So just to wrap it up on SI and what they're doing, and I like the company, so we threw in 100 shares just to, get started, and we'll see kind of how it plays out. I will track the chart constantly and see what's kind of going on. I'll follow them every day, like I follow SPCE or Tesla or whatever we're getting involved in, and see how this plays out. Let's see if the break is a real break and they start moving up. We'll see what happens in the next quarter, Q1. So I hope this video shows you kind of how I do a little bit of research, check the charts out, see what's going on with the company, with their executives or their management team, what they're, doing or what they're trying to do, and some of their past track record. And then and start in and see kind of how it goes instead of going crazy. Okay, remember this IPO'd in November. So it's going to be interesting, and whether it's a long-term play or not doesn't really matter. This could be a short-term play, this could be a short to mid-term, or it could be a long-term play. We don't know. There's not enough data behind this. So we'll see kind of how it goes and see if we can make a profit on this one. So this is a good entry type thing. It's almost like I'm paper trading and I'm just testing something out. I'm going to test out some strategies and see how it works.